What's also a little trifling, Yo-Yo, is that it's coming out that the U.S. Government Accountability Office is saying that the Department of Homeland Security is undercounting the number of deaths of people trying to cross the border that are trying to come in without inspection by not crossing near a border crossing. Now, there's been more entries without inspection since the pandemic started, simply because people are in tent city. They're not allowing people to enter the United States on a more rational basis. They are preventing people from applying for asylum. They are preventing people from applying for asylum and waiting in the United States for their asylum hearing. They are applying for asylum and sitting in Mexico in a tent, waiting for their hearing to be heard months or sometimes years later. And with the idea that Trump said, you know what, people will get tired of waiting, they'll go home. That was his idea. So people say, I'm going to run across the border.
Yeah.
And when people start running across the border, people start dying. And according to the U.S. Government Accounting Office, the Department of Homeland Security is not counting all the deaths from people running across the border, because they're only counting the deaths of people that the Department of Homeland Security comes across. They are not including the number of deaths that are reported by the state police, and they are not reporting the number of deaths by other local authorities that come across dead bodies in the desert or wherever else they may come across. Now, the General Accounting Office pointed out that Congress directed Customs and Border Patrol to report on every discovery of migrant remains, not just discoveries by Department of Homeland Security, but discoveries by everybody.
Right.
So when you see the statistics of number of deaths, it's only the number of deaths that the Department of Homeland Security has come across. Now, in 2020, between 1998 and 2020, the U.S. Border Patrol recorded over 7,000 migrant deaths. In 2020 alone, it was 227 people dead that they came across trying to cross the border without inspection. Now, according to an international organization for migration, the United Nations agency that monitors migration, they claim more than 650 dead. That's a big cry from 227.
Wow.
And they say that their number is undercounted.
Wow.
So maybe it could be over 1,000 people dying trying to run across the border every year.
I agree with Burrell Harris saying that is so messed up. That is messed up.
And
these are actual human beings.
Yeah, and I want you to know something. What is very, I find it, I don't understand how you can rationalize both sides of the coin, where people will argue, the abortion argument and say every life matters.
Right.
We can't have an abortion because every life matters. But then as soon as that life is born, that life doesn't matter as much anymore, apparently. Because nobody seems to care when people die running across the border.
Right.
Nobody seems to care. People running for their lives.
That is definitely hypocritical.
Nobody seems to care about that.
Right.
So to me, every life matters until that life is born.
Yeah.
And then the life doesn't matter as much depending on what that life looks like. Right?
It's true.
I mean, if you really want to come down to it.
It's very true.
There's more important lives than other important lives. Some lives are more important than others. Before the baby's born, every life is the same. It's very important. But once the baby's born,
should be the same.
Depending on what that baby looks like, and where that baby was born, those lives could be different.
Yeah.
Quite hypocritical.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll tell you what else is I find hypocritical is that nobody talks about this.
Right.
Nobody seems to care.
Except for the two ladies that I did that interview.
That is right.
And that's actually what I started thinking about.
Yeah, do you remember you spoke with Christy Guevara,
and
Flanagan, and Maite Zabare, and they appeared on a show, about a month ago? Right. And they represent Eagles of the Desert, a volunteer group who goes out once a month to search for missing migrants at the U.S. southern border. According to Christy and Maite, it's estimated that only 1 out of every 5 migrants are actually ever found.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, if they say the UN says 600 dead, and now Christie and Mighty are saying only 1 out of 5 are found. It's maybe more than that. Maybe it's 2,000. Maybe it's 3,000 people dead at the border every year, because we don't want to interview them at a border crossing and allow those people into the United States who pass a credible fear interview that their life is in danger. They could be killed if they go back home. That life's not as important as the unborn child.
Yeah.
That's what is hypocritical about the whole thing. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.